What do you make of the composition of this advisory panel?
Well, it's a big panel. I think the Prime Minister is trying to be both inclusive but also focused at the same time. The predecessor organization, the previous panel, was asked to deal with all dimensions of Canada-U.S. relations. This one is focused on the economy. So the membership, I think, is calibrated to bring that kind of focus. From my own point of view, I look forward to making some contributions in the areas where I have some background and expertise as a former cabinet minister dealing with export industries like agriculture and natural resources, as well as finance and national security. From the diplomatic arena, having been in the UK for the last 5 years, that's a country into which we are attempting to diversify our trade, to reduce our dependency on the United States. So that's another angle of planning and consultation that we need to keep it. And as well, a background in Western Canada, where our focus has been fuel and fertilizer and food and critical minerals, which are all key parts of the Canada-U.S. relationship.
What do you make of what the Prime Minister had to say in his address to Canadians over the weekend, when he says it's getting to what you were talking about in terms of diversifying trade away from the United States? Basically, I'm paraphrasing, but saying that the close ties that Canada had with the U.S. used to be our strengths, but they are now weaknesses that we need to correct. What do you think the Prime Minister is trying to signal there, aside from diversifying? Is he suggesting that maybe there won't be a free trade deal with the United States, that we need to be prepared to walk away? What do you get from that message?
Well, I think the Prime Minister is quite rightly keeping his cards on this matter pretty close to the vest, because the last thing you want in negotiation is to appear to the other side to be desperate, to have no options, to be prepared to give away almost everything in order to get anything. It's important for Canada to make it clear that we do have options, we do have alternatives, and we will stand our ground. We've got to have the courage of our convictions. We have had a relationship with the United States for 80 years, which is now fundamentally changed, not by our action, by theirs, and we have to deal with that reality. So how do you deal with a partner who is suddenly far less friendly than they used to be? You have to deal from strength and to demonstrate that you have that toughness that required to get a good deal. Not just any.
Yeah.
First of all, he starts off by saying that Carney is focused and inclusive. I don't know. That doesn't really mean anything to me. Then he says that he's holding his cards close to his chest so that he can be strong and he can use this leverage. Well, just a reminder that we are waiting for the Army Corps engineers to release their record of decision on the Line 5 gas pipeline that powers up Ontario and Quebec. So that's a choke point, and that sounds like a lot of leverage for the American team. So he's and then he says that, well, now we have a partner that is really sort of erratic and not very friendly anymore, and it's not our fault. But in the meantime, you are protecting state-controlled oligopolies in food, in communications, in energy. We have the highest prices in the G7 for all of these things, and that, I suppose you'd rather protect those interests rather than the interests of the Canadian people. Let's continue.
What about when you get kind of hostile remarks like the one from Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary, from the other day, saying that if the Canadian strategy of sort of waiting this out to try and get a better deal with the U.S., that's his interpretation. He says, well, that strategy, it sucks, was the word. They suck, or something like that, the words he used.
Yeah, well, let's not be distracted by the chaos, by the deliberate insults, by the diversions and all the other bargaining tactics that attempt to create a huge amount of clutter and hope that we will either lose our focus or lose our nerve. We won't. Canadians are determined. I hope what this committee can do in part is two things. One, make sure that we've got the cohesion, the inclusion, the solidarity on the Canadian side, so that we're all pulling constructively in the.
What does cohesion and collusion or inclusion, on the 23-member panel advisory committee that's been set up, and that number 23 is very interesting because it represents pain in the comms. What does that have to do with anything? What does inclusion and cohesion have to do with anything? I want to see cohesion with America. I want to see inclusion with America, not with your fucking stupid panel.
Same direction, but also recognizing on the other side of the equation that this is a tough situation. It is not easy. It does not lend itself to simplistic solutions, and we need to have the courage of our convictions to hang tough in the process until we get what we want, because we do have bargaining chips on our side. Mr. Trump is fond of saying, well, the Canadian.
What is it exactly that you want, Goodale? What do you want? You haven't even told the Canadian people what you want. You are protecting the Crown and right of Canada. You are protecting state-controlled oligopolies in dairy, in food, in alcohol, in communications. Everything is supply managed in Canada to our detriment of the Canadian people. So what exactly is it that you want?
Have absolutely nothing that we ever want. Well, that's not factually correct. We do have energy. We do have the other.
You don't have any energy. It belongs to Alberta. You don't have any uranium, potash. It belongs to Saskatchewan. You don't have any grain. It belongs to Manitoba. You don't have any water. You don't have any rare earth minerals. It belongs to Ontario. Get real.
Export items that we sell to the United States on a very regular basis. They buy more from us. We buy more from them, and they buy more from us than any two other trading partners in the world. So there is leverage there. There is clout, and we need to use.
You don't have any leverage and clout. The provinces have it. You don't have this new advisory committee has to go running to the provinces first. What the fuck good is this committee? It should be the premiers that are going down there to talk to the Americans. It should be the people in business, not all of these academics and former cabinet ministers going down there, people with no experience in business.
It in an astute way to get what we want. Don't be spooked, and don't be intimidated by all the crossfire.
How would you characterize, though, the trading relationship with the United States right now? Because negotiations haven't been going on. Trump got upset over an Ontario ad showing Reagan saying he didn't like tariffs many, many months ago, and here we are. And Pierre Poilievre, but many others have said it's time for results.
Well, it's not obviously a desirable relationship because of the behavior of our American friends and colleagues over the last number of months. But when you add together all the puts and takes, all the things that have happened, tariffs on.
What What are you talking about? Because it's the behavior of the Americans. Wasn't it Carney that said that our relationship with the United States was over? Our relationship with the United States was a weakness? I mean, what kind of prime minister would make comments like that? Meanwhile, his children all go to the school in the United States. All his investments are in the United States. His wife spends half her time in the United States. His Brookfield Investments is in the United States. So what the hell are you talking about? Their behavior, that they have done something wrong.
Tariffs off, threats here, threats there, threats made, threats removed, and all of that. The net result at the moment is that Canada has, amongst all the countries of the world, probably the most favorable trading relationship with the United States. Despite all of the chaos that's been created, we have achieved at the moment the best situation that.
The only reason we have that 85% products not tariffed is because of the United States, not because of anything that Ottawa has done.
Virtually any country in the world has. Now, the real crunch comes as the CUSMA negotiations begin, and that's what the Prime Minister is focusing his resources and his ammunition and his tactics and strategy on at the moment. That's what this committee is intended.
Ammunition, his focus, his tactics. You make it sound like he's going into a war. How is that a useful framing for the up and coming negotiations? If they're even now, I'm hearing that Trump is demanding you pay a fee to even sit down at the table. You have no leverage.
To help with. So far, so good. We've managed to steer our way through the situation better than most other countries in the world, but there's still a big job yet to do. We can't lose.
Yeah, I just want to ask you just one last thing, and I know it's a little bit outside of your Western expertise in terms of, but it's just what the U.S. ambassador said to the PEI premier just the other day. Don't worry about supply management. It'll probably be fine. Where there were some thinking, well, maybe that's actually what the Trump administration is going after, is Canada's supply management. I mean, how do you follow kind of the ebbs and the flows of all of this and try and make sense of it and try and provide advice? I mean, who knows really what's going on?
Make sense of it is the big challenge, Andrew. Chaos is part of the U.S. strategy. So we need to stay calm and carry on, as the Brits say, through all of.
Can you believe he just said that? Stay calm and carry on, as the Brits say. Oh, he loves those Brits. Oh, yes, he does. He's been there for the past 5 years. We're trying to get into those markets. We're trying to diversify. What are we going to do? The small and medium enterprises, businesses in Ontario, right across Canada. What are we going to do with them? What do we have to do with the British? They are private lenders. This government, this Carney government, is running around the world signing memorandums of understanding for private lenders so they can get a yield off Canada, so they can control us with their insurance capital, their ESG insurance. So they get control. They don't have to even own anything. They just control it with insurance and with rules and keep us deprived and have scarcity, so we can't develop our resources. We can't do anything. They don't want us to do anything for other reasons, which I won't go into right now. But so I'm sorry, but I hate to disappoint you, Canadians. I wish I could give you better news, but these people are incompetent. They have no strategy to deal with America. America is about the American political economy. They want sovereignty. They want to develop their resources. They want to develop the continent. They don't want outsiders. I don't want outsiders. I'm fed up with Europe and with the UK. I want out, away, away, away. Unfortunately, Ottawa got into bed with them with CETA, and we've got probably $500 billion to maybe $1 trillion trapped over there. in a financial system that is in the crosshairs of the Trump administration right now, squeezing them for energy with the Strait of Hormuz. So this is a disaster. Ottawa is a disaster right now, and they are going to put us into a depression. And I don't know how much longer. All they have to do is cancel currency swap agreements, cancel Enbridge Line 5. And then what is Ottawa going to do? You know, this little band of Laurentian elites, they cannot do this to the Canadian people for much longer. It's gone on way too long as it is. That's all I have to say. Bye for now.